By clicking the link in the stream's description. The professor wants to hear from you.
Beginnings on the cusp, not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup. Something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good car.
Isn't it lovely? I ain't looking back, I'm focused on what's in front of me. Everybody dates a number, but I'm still here luckily. I know that God got me, so I'm in good company. Isn't it lovely?
Welcome, and thank you for joining me today. I am Professor Bear, and this is a Bear's Thought. And today, my sponsors are the wonderful Navarra Comics. If you like comics as much as Professor does, I'm a big nerd, and I go to pick up my comics at Navarra Comics. They have a wide selection of comics, graphic novels. They have such a big selection of things. Plus, if you're not in the East Tennessee area, that's okay, because they have a subscription box where you can order your and be shipped to you. And if you go that route, you get 25% off your entire order. And if you order more than $30 worth of comics or whatever, you can get your shipment for free. Navarra Comics is the way to go. My next sponsor is Tag Team Toys and Collectibles. Again, I am a big giant nerd. I am proud to say it. And I love action figures. I love title belts, as you can see over my shoulder. I love anything to do with wrestling. And Tag Team Toys and Collectibles has what you want. Whereas figures, if it's title belts, they actually even have comics too. They have what some of you younger kids don't know about, VCR tapes. And they have whatever you need. If you are in the East Tennessee area, once again, Clinton, Tennessee, to be exact, that's where you can go and get great selection of things. And you can check them out on Facebook also, Tag Team Toys and Collectibles. And last but not least, Chops, Cards, and Print on Demand. Now, again, I can't say it enough. I am a giant nerd. I always have been, and I'm proud of it. I used to collect all kinds of collectible cards: football, basketball, baseball, wrestling. And I always thought as a kid, one day I'm going to have my own card. I'm going to have it. Well, I'm lazy. It's no thing. I'm just lazy. I wasn't going to do any of that sports stuff. I couldn't do it, so I didn't. But Chops have made my dreams come true because they do personal trading cards. Yes, Professor is working on getting him 18 trading cards for $50. You cannot beat that anywhere. Plus, they are so great. They look fantastic. And since you know Professor, I'm going to hook you up with 15% off your entire purchase. All you have to do is put in the code BEAR15 and bam, there you go. That's Chops Cards and Print on Demands. Number one for trading cards. Now, every time I am blessed to have one of my podcasts go on, I have a tremendous guest. I've been blessed with so many athletes, so many people that are very special to the wrestling business. This one in particular, she does not get the love and respect because she is low key. She doesn't care about it, but Professor does, and she deserves everything, all the love and respect from us wrestling fans. And she does so much work on the inside that you as fans would not understand. So I brought her here today to show her off, to say, because she definitely deserves our thanks and praise. My guest today is Courtney. Courtney, how are you doing today, ma'am?
I am doing so great, and now I think I'm going to get my own trading card.
There you
That
go. I'm
sounds,
telling you,
that sounds awesome.
they are not just because they are my sponsors, they do some tremendous work. I one of my friends, a part of WSN, got some, and he raves over 'em. So
That
it's
sounds
cool.
awesome.
So let's talk about your background. As I always like to ask all my guests, how did you become a wrestling fan?
Well, it was 99, right before WrestleMania 15. All of the kids were talking about the fireball gimmick between Kane and Triple H. They were fighting over China. China had just turned her back on Triple H to be with Kane, or all of that. And he got a fireball in the face. And this was back when Raw was taped a week ahead of time. So all of my friends were there and they're like, "Oh man, you have to watch it. It was crazy." And I'm like, "That happened? That happened here." So I turned it on because I had to see it. And then I saw Stone Cold. And after that, I did not miss a single episode. And I have been a mega fan ever since.
Oh wow. So with you being a mega fan,
Mm.
how did you turn that into an actual career in wrestling?
Well, that's kind of an interesting story. I got really into the indies and I was going to a show every week. And I am not one that blends into the crowd. Like, I'm the loud one. I'm the one that gets the chants started. I'm the one that gets everybody going. And I made such a name for myself for always being there and yelling, "He has till 5." Um, People cared what I had to say. And one of the promoters pulled me aside after one of the shows and asked if I wanted to do a fan-based wrap-up show where I could give my thoughts about all of the matches and the wrestlers and everything. And that kind of didn't go well, but I was like, that's pretty cool. So my friends and I, we were driving home from a show and we were talking about it and we're like, you know what? we had the thought that every friend group has. We are so funny, people need to hear us, right? Like, you're
Right.
not a real friend group if you've not had that thought. Like, we need our own show. So we went home, we recorded ourselves talking about every single match, and it caught on. What was really interesting was some of the wrestlers messaged us and like thanked us for doing that. Because in the moment, you can't fully grasp how what you're doing goes over. You know, you don't know if the fans like it, hate it. Like, you can register noise, but you don't have time to, you know, because you're in the moment.
Right.
But we would give pretty in detail thoughts about it, and it helped them. They're like, oh man, I was so worried about this promo, but then I heard you talking about it and I know it went over well, so thank you. So that got pretty that took off pretty well. And then I just wanted to write, so I offered to do match results. I offered to do whatever, so I just kept doing more and more. um, Biographies. I like to do synopsis of feuds and storylines, either to hype up a match or after the match to like sum up the story. I started doing interviews. That's terrifying, but I love it. I've done a little bit of ring announcing, just whatever they needed. So
That's cool. So with you diving in so much and getting to do so, doing this, how did you, I guess, how did you feel about being a part of the product?
it doesn't feel real. I love wrestling so much. It is a huge, important part of my life. And I feel like not even worthy of being backstage. Like, I don't go in the locker room because I don't feel like I've earned it because I'm not a wrestler. So it doesn't register that I'm a part of the show, you know, because it's just like, it's so big in my mind. You know, wrestling is just this huge thing. And then for somebody like me that's, you know, never taken a bump or anything, to be a part of it just is crazy.
So, what was the company that this all started in?
Well, they were PWX over in Pittsburgh. They were a part of the NWA when they got started. It was NWA East. And then the company that let me do the writing was Code Red Wrestling in Pittsburgh. And then I've worked at Mon Valley Pro Wrestling, Valley Wrestling Federation, Legit Alternative Wrestling. And now my home base is the West Virginia Wrestling Federation. So I've worked a little bit of everywhere in Pittsburgh, Ohio, and West Virginia, like that whole tri-state area.
So, working in the different ones, was it them reaching out to you, or you reaching out to them, or a little of both?
It was a little of both, but by that point, I don't want to sound arrogant, but I did kind of make a name for myself up here, because I do write a lot. Like, not just the match results, but like all of the biographies and everything. So like, my name gets out there if you're following these companies. And then, you know, wrestling is a very small world, so it gets around.
So, and the only reason I'm about to ask you this question, because you sound similar to a lot of what I've been through since I've been able to get into it. Um, how do you feel when wrestlers come up to you and tell you thank you?
I I really appreciate that. Um, I try and help wherever I can. So for them to say thank you, it makes me feel seen and appreciated. and like people actually care about my contributions. Just last night, my good friend Day Jameson showed me a flyer for his match and asked me like my opinions on it. So to like have that level of trust from the wrestlers is really, really cool.
Definitely agree with you. It's almost surreal that the wrestlers are like, wow, you actually listen to this and you actually like this, and it feels like you should not be in the position you're in.
Yeah.
Like I said, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, I interrupted
No,
you.
no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I'm always a fan first. I'm always, right in the front row, yelling, being a part, like, just being sucked into that whole world. So, like, that's always been my mindset is to be a fan first.
Definitely. And I, I, I've been in your shoes. I'm literally am in your shoes. I when I get the chance to go, and then wrestlers come up to me like, "Hey, where you been? How you been doing?" It's like, what? This doesn't feel right, but I definitely understand where you're coming from. So, with that being said, what is your ultimate goal for being in the wrestling business?
I have two. I really want to write a book of some kind. Um, I have been bothering one of my friends, Joshua Kavad, to write his life story. As a friend of his, I know it's an amazing story. So I have been like picking at him for like, I don't know, 2, 3 years to let me write his story. That is a huge goal to like write a book. And the second one is I would love to be a manager. With my enthusiasm and my mouth to talk trash, I think I would have a lot of fun doing that.
That
Just one time, I would love to manage somebody.
uh,
Uh, I would have fun with that.
so I can honestly imagine you doing that. Um, what I, I guess what don't you feel like you have opportunities to do that though?
If I really pushed, I'm sure they probably would. I just don't know if I'm like worthy of it. Like I haven't been trained or anything like that, and I kind of feel like it's kind of audacious of me to be like I want to be a part of a storyline or something. But there's been a couple of times where I got drug into them unwillingly. um I am on crutches, and my crutches are very, very bedazzled. As you can see, like they're all like blinged out and everything.
Right.
Some of the guys have used them in matches to hurt other wrestlers. So like I'm at the commentary table and like a heel will come up and like steal my crutch and hit somebody with it. And I'm standing there like, no. So like that's about the most I've gotten to do.
So I in thinking that could be your end easily, where you want revenge for being disrespected.
It's funny you say that because there is a current situation with Brittany Storm. She is a female wrestler up here that I just cannot stand. I think she is terrible, and she had the audacity to steal my crutch and throw it across the room. So I have talked to WVWF management about that. They're not taking it seriously. Fortunately, I am beloved, So I managed to get a couple of my big guys to like stand at my table to make sure that I'm okay, that she doesn't do it again.
Well,
Uh,
see, the story right itself is right there.
yeah, it's funny. We got the Blood Beast who is like 6'4", 6'5", and she comes after me, and I just grabbed him and I put him in front of us, and like he's massive, painted face, blood dripping down, and you just run the other way. So it helps. It helps to have friends.
Yes, it does. So, do you would you want to be a manager? Is there any manager that has made you say, definitely, I want to be a manager at least once because of this person?
Well, there's the obvious answer of Paul Heyman. I think that's like a go-to. But I was always a big fan of Sensational Sherry. She is amazing. I'm not quite graceful enough to be a Miss Elizabeth, but I would love to be like Sensational Sherry.
I think Sherry does not get the credit she deserves for managing because most people talk about her in ring skills, but she was one hell of a manager.
Mhm.
And uh, especially, I think in WCW, she was just super wonderful because she didn't have a lot of women to wrestle against,
Yeah,
and you could really see her do so much wonderful stuff.
she's definitely an inspiration of mine. Her work with Shawn Michaels. I mean, we still hear her voice when Shawn comes out,
Yeah.
her work with Macho Man. You were talking about WCW. Everybody remembers her with Harlem Heat. Like, she was just amazing. Another one would probably be Daphne.
Oh, yes.
She Daphne is a huge inspiration of mine, just in general. But her managing Crowbar and David Flair made David Flair relevant. Like, how hard of a job is that? So, I loved her so much. I actually was privileged enough to recap her story of Dark Side of the Ring for Slam Wrestling,
Oh, wow.
and that kept me up at night because I was like, I have to do this right. This is Daphne. Like, I have to tell her story right.
Yes. It's so tragic. It's tragic, and people really don't understand how, no matter how beloved you are, you can feel alone.
Mhm.
And, that's why I'm a big, firm believer in letting people know and giving people their flowers because you never know what they're dealing with or going through. That one kind word could change everything for them.
Absolutely.
So, with that being said, who besides we already know Stone Cold, but who else did you love as wrestlers?
Oh, China. I had never seen anything like that. That was a trailblazer. Like, every single hyperbole you could say does not even begin to cover what she was. I loved that. I loved her. Obviously, I loved the Hardy Boys. I was privileged to be in that generation. Um, The Rock, obviously, Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker. Yeah, that was like my era. And then I fell in love with it that I went back in and researching. That's when I found Sensational Sherry and then Luna Vachon.
Oh yes.
I love Luna. She's amazing. Lunger Blaze, these types of people.
With that being said, what would be if you had the chance to write a book about a certain wrestling generation? What would that generation be, and what do you think you could add to the writing that other people have missed out on?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, as a writer, I think the smart choice would be to write what you know. So I would probably have to say the Attitude Era, and that's personal to me because that's the era that I grew up in. But also, as a historian, I've researched that time period, and there was a lot of angst going on, and you could see that reflected in wrestling. So I would probably tie that into what was going on in the wrestling world and society at that time. And you can see like there was definitely a cultural shift from like the super superhero era of the 80s, to the more controversial, the more adult related products of the Attitude Era.
Good. Um, would you? Well, no. With today's product, are you still into the WWE product, or the AEW, or more of the indies?
Well, I'll always love the indies first. I've been too drug into the indies not to say that. But in regard to like TV, I would have to say I love NXT. That is my favorite brand. I cover it for the Pro Wrestling Wire every week, but I still watch Raw and SmackDown. I watch AEW. I watch TNA. I watch NWA. All whatever I can, I will watch. I can't not watch it and keep up with it and see what everyone's doing.
With that being said, I, me and a couple of buddies had a conversation about it, and we were talking about how we felt like, particularly WWE has gotten stale, and that some of the product, if it wasn't that we just love wrestling, that we probably wouldn't watch it. Would you? Do you feel the same way about that?
I can see that. With the last couple of weeks, the Raw main event has been pretty much the same. It's been some formation of, the Vision taking on somebody. So, like, I can see where you're saying that. I'm very happy with what they're doing on SmackDown with Ilya Dragunov. That guy is unhuman. Like, that's crazy. And I'm going to be glued to my TV when he eventually takes on Tommaso Ciampa. They're obviously building to that, and I will love every single second of that match. It's going to be incredible. I'm very excited to see Javon Evans taking on Gunther. That that's going to be incredible.
I really feel sorry for Javon, because I think literally people are going to see Gunther put his whole hand through his chest and leave an imprint in his back.
Oh,
It,
absolutely.
oh, it's
Oh
going to
yeah,
be
he's going to have a rough night. But as a fan, it's going to be a good match.
so. If you had the booking stick in WWE, what would you change?
I would make the women's tag team championships actually matter. I would try and make matches that we haven't seen. Put a little more focus on the in-ring stuff because I feel like there's a lot of talking and promos and, setting up stuff. Trying not to be as redundant as it has been. I think that would be like a really big step forward if we could do that.
Another thing that I had a discussion about was um, pay-per-view. I would never call them PLEs. I think it's stupid, and I'm damn old school, and I'm gonna be old school. They're pay-per-views.
Yeah, I
Um,
hear you.
one thing the discussion was that they have too many pay-per-views and do not do enough setups. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, we saw it last night. We saw it on Raw like 2 nights ago with them setting up the War Games match. For whatever reason, it's like, oh, we have 4 guys that are faces and then we have 4 guys that are heels. So they obviously have to fight each other. It was even worse with the women. Like Lash Legend, who I love. I adore Lash Legend. She is everything they want you to think Jade Cargill is, but she can actually back it up. The only reason, like the only way I could be more happy is if it were Jada Parker. I love me some Miss Parker, but it's just like she just popped up. She did an homage to China, I think. If you saw the way she had Alexa Bliss dangling, it was exactly how China made her debut. I
Right.
don't know if that was intentional, but it made me happy. But it's like you just been on the main roster literally one time, and now you're in War Games. Why?
Honestly, if I had the stick, I would not do war games. I think they are overdoing the war games, and like you're saying, it's there's no reason. It's not the end all be all blood feud. Every year we have to come up with a reason to be in war game. I think what they should do is go back to doing the 5-on-5 Survivor Series concept.
Yeah. I
And
honestly thought, sorry, go
no,
ahead.
no, no, no. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I honestly thought that's where this TNA invasion was heading. That's what I thought they were building to. And they blew that opportunity because, like, it was an invasion angle that I was actually, like, intrigued about because, like, we had never seen anything like that before. Seeing the TNA Knockouts Championship on WWE programming is crazy.
I, one thing that irritates me about the whole TNA NXT thing is they have put more stock into making sure WWE talent has TNA championships than the other way around. And when they get it, they're old WWE people. Like when the Hardy Boys won the tag titles, I'm like, and what? I mean, that not that I don't love the Hardys, not that I don't respect everything they do and did, but they shouldn't have gave them the title. It to me it makes TNA look inferior. Every time they're losing their titles, and then they have to fight to get it back. And then once they get it back, nobody cares. It's almost like it's not a real buildup. It's just, hey, we're gonna give you some of our guys to hopefully boost your ratings. That's it. And the same thing with AAA. Um,
I agree.
what would you would you do the? Because at one point they were talking about the TNA versus AAA versus NXT. They were talking about doing that. Then, for whatever reason, they went away from it. Would you like to see that? And if you had the stick again to write it, what would be your? How would you go about it?
Well, I would keep it pretty much the same way that it was. Make it overwhelmingly on the NXT side. I would keep it NXT versus TNA. Keep it simple. Have the WWE guys take the TNA championships. That would give TNA a lot of momentum to like come back and like charge and take their stuff back. Um, I think it would be a pretty cool story to see TNA win that Survivor Series match and get their championships back. You know, because like we see, like you said, they were inferior. Like that's how they're being presented. So if you can keep them down, keep them down, keep them down, and then they finally win at Survivor Series, like that would be a really cool story. But they didn't do that.
With how do you feel about AEW?
I am not as big on AW as I used to be. I do not care for the John Moxley stuff. Um, it's too much Mercedes Monet. Like that, it just doesn't click for me anymore. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of what they're doing right now.
Uh, do you like any other wrestling styles like New Japan or AAA or any?
I kind of like women of wrestling. I know not a lot of people talk about it, but it's a very, very interesting concept where you have wrestlers that have their identities in other companies and then they come here and they go there and play a completely different character. Like one of my favorites on the indies is Hollywood Haley J,
Yes.
right? So we all know that character, we know all of that. Then she goes to Women of Wrestling and she's like a truck driver for some reason. It's just so bizarre, but in such a great way. And they all have like very clear characters. Like they'll be like the lawyer, Sophia Lopez, and like it's just so bizarre, but in a great way.
I think one of the biggest problems with women of wrestling is they do not have real any TV any syndication. They have nothing. If you want to find it, you have to do some real searching to find their product.
Yeah. I thought they were going to get bigger because they had AJ Lee as a producer, and this was before all the controversy. They had Tessa Blanchard,
Right.
you know, so that was like a heavy hitting way to come back. Because like I used to watch the original Women of Wrestling when I was a kid, and the cool thing about that was you could email the wrestlers, and you would get emails back, and it was really really cool. But when they said that they were bringing it back with AJ Lee and Tessa, I was like, that's going to be awesome. And it was kinda, but it just never reached where I was hoping it would.
Yeah. I I know of it. I've never seen it, and I won't even sit here and lie. I've never had the real desire to dive in to find it. Like if when I try to look at women's wrestling, if I really want what I call real pure women's wrestling, I would look at Stardom.
Oh, yeah.
And they're hard hitting. Their style is just phenomenal, and I wish that we had a fed a federation here in the States that took women wrestling as serious as Stardom.
There was talks about that there, because now in WWE they have 3 brands worth of women, and then they could do an all women's TV show if they really really wanted to.
And what I had heard is that they they feel like they wouldn't do well with ratings. Now, again, most most wrestling shows are not doing that great in ratings anyway. And I feel like if you give enough of the product out there and make it where it's not insulting, that people would come to watch.
I just don't understand it from a business perspective, because you have all of these women under contract anyway. Like, you're paying them anyway. You have the performance center, you could use the NXT setup. Like, you have all of like everything that you need. It probably would have been better back when there was like the WWE network, but like, you have all of the components to put on a show if you really wanted to. Like, they just made Evolve a show. Why not?
Yeah, very true. Um, Speaking of the setup now, what is your thoughts about TKO owning WWE and what they've done in the last few years since they've taken over?
I hate it. I hate watching them pull out a table and you see Slim Jim on it. I am really annoyed. I'm very upset that they're taking WrestleMania to Saudi Arabia. That's not going to be WrestleMania. It's not. Like, we're not going to get the pomp and circumstance that we're used to. We're not going to get those bands playing the wrestlers to the ring, or random celebrities popping up to announce whatever fake attendance record they're making up. Like, we're not going to get those special WrestleMania moments. And then I can't even imagine how disrespected you would feel if you're a female. You put in the hard work all year round, you sacrifice so much, and then everybody, the whole calendar is set around WrestleMania. Like, that is the goal. And you're going to have that moment in a country with that kind of a past. I don't know how you get excited about that. What do you think?
I think that, and this, I know it's going to cost me for saying this, but I think that ever since TKO has come into control of WWE, we have seen how they clearly insult our intelligence as wrestling fans. They give not a damn about us. It's all about the dollar. That's why the ticket prices have skyrocketed. That's why the house shows, they're cutting out house shows to the smaller market that can't do a Raw or SmackDown. It's all about the dollar, and it's so sad because it takes away from wrestling, and it's and and I would say, because of course we all hear rumors, and that heard that TKO may be okay with selling it. Well, then my fear is they're going to sell it to the Saudis, and it's going to be 3 times as worse. It's, and I never ever thought I would even let this come out of my mouth, but with everything Vince McMahon has done and the bad stuff, at least he kept it where families could go to see a show at a decent price.
Yeah, that was a huge thing for him. Um, the carny in me is going to say, like, indie prices aren't rising and you can still go see a local show for a very good price. WVWF charges $10 a ticket. Like, it's great. It's a wonderful opportunity. So if you're running indie shows, you could use that to sell some tickets.
Exactly. That's I swear by indie shows. I would tell anybody go support your local indies. You never ever know who you will see on the indies, and 5 years, 10 years down the line, they will be a world champion. They will be a big name across the world, and you got to saw their rise. It's something cool. Plus, with the indies, you get to meet the wrestlers. You get to it. it as I like to call it, it's almost like a family reunion. Everybody knows everybody. You have fun. You can uh, just, like I said, talk to the wrestlers, and they are generally excited to talk to you. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, I I don't think it's corny. I just think it's the truth. Indie
Yeah,
wrestling is so fun, and you can get so much more out of it. And it's a memory that you can give your kids that's going to last a lifetime.
exactly. It's very interactive, and the guys are competing with all of them on TV. And what they try to do is make it as creative and interesting as possible. And a lot of stuff that you see on TV was done on the indies. There's so many gimmicks and storylines that if you're a fan of the indies, you saw it before. You know, I've gotten to see so many wrestlers in my area that have made it to WWE and AEW. And some of them I knew when they were just starting to train. So I love seeing that. I got to
Oh,
see Lee Moriarty,
mm.
insanely talented. Britt Baker, who, random fact, her dad is actually a really big fan of mine.
What?
Yeah, he always, whenever AEW comes to town, I always run into Mr. Baker and he always talks to me. um, Wardlow, Thea Hale, Corey Graves. A lot of these guys I've gotten to know before they made it to TV. Joaquin Wilde of the LWO. Um, a lot.
And see that, and that is my point right there. You get to see, and you get to see their growth and them being able to live out their dream. It is such an amazing feeling. And again, just, and then the support. Most tickets are, especially in today's time and climate, their tickets are so reasonable.
Hmm.
It
It's either between $10 to $20.
yes, and you can get their merch, and their merch, they put their heart and soul into making their merch.
This is my son's shirt. This is McMoney the second. He was so proud to have his own shirt. And I know the people that make the shirt. Like, that's the cool thing about working in the indies is you see how everything gets made. So to see the people that make the t-shirts and sell them, it's really cool.
So your son wrestles.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And were you just gonna sit here and wasn't gonna tell us that?
He is so entertaining. He's so it's so unreal because you can go, hey, do this flippity dippity whatever, and he could nail it on the first try. Like he did a triple jump moonsault on the first try.
Oh wow.
And he was doing the Sabu with the chair. Like he'll set up the chair and he'll dive on it. Like the kid has absolutely no fear. And like I said, you could just name a move and he can just do it. It's crazy.
So then one can assume that he got his mother's passion about wrestling from you.
And he's got his mouth from me. Like whenever he cuts a promo, I can hear it. I'm like, yeah, I would say that.
What? Please, please tell your son's name so fans can look him up.
He is Michael McMoney the second. So I have to give Michael McMoney a lot of credit for the wrestling thing because he's a pro wrestler. So he's got his father's ability and his mother's like mouth.
That is awesome. So, and one of the final questions, and I always and I ask everybody this too. What will you be doing in 5 years? Where do you think you will be in the business?
Hopefully writing for a bigger platform. No offense to what I'm doing now, but I would love to be a part of like PWI. I would just be so happy to like go down to Barnes and Noble and pick up PWI off the shelf and see my name in there. Like that would be really cool.
Well, and I said that was the last question, but since bringing that up, have you seen the women's top 250 yet?
I've seen some of that. I've been paying attention to some of the friends that I know that are on there talking about their numbers. Journey Burke, Danny Moe, like a lot of them are on there. So, but I haven't actually seen it yet. I'm
Um,
just happy that there is one for the women. I'm just grateful that there is one.
what I was going to say, and I noticed this, and I thought it's cool, but I think you can't have both. In the men's top 500, women can break into the ratings too.
So you would just have one giant rating. You would just have one giant ranking.
I would either have the giant ranking or keep them separate. And the reason I would say that is because, and it's no disrespect to any woman's athlete. I am very much a supporter of women's wrestling and everything. But if the women can get into the men's ranking, then why not the men get into the women's? And to keep that's separated, either have one, like you said, one giant one, or keep them separate. I just think that it's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? It can be a little confusing. And I think that people that are sitting right out the 500 could have made it if they wouldn't have added women into the 500.
I hear what you're saying, and yeah, I would be okay with them having two different ones.
Which
Keep
I think,
it keep it
go ahead.
under it's clear. Yeah.
And again, I said that was going to be the last one, but my mind keep popping questions. How do you feel about intergender matches?
I'm not a huge fan of them. I can see their purpose, but I that would not be my go-to. I feel like if you're gonna do it, you should have like a reason for it. Like, we would have all loved to see Rhea Ripley take on Dominic Mysterio. That's when you would want to do the intergender stuff. But I have to kind of respect it, because on the indie level, there's not a lot of women. There's not enough women. So sometimes that's the only way a female could get a match and get training and experience in ring time. I absolutely adore Phoebe Harper. She is a wrestler from WWF. She is amazing, and I'm seeing her get better by wrestling men. So I can't completely knock it.
I totally agree with you. I talked to a couple of different women wrestlers, and they had to, in their training, they were most times the only ones there. So they had to train with men. If it makes sense and they do it the right way, I have no problem with it also. One of the things that was kind of, it was cool for the moment, but I wouldn't want it all the time, is when Tessa Blanchard won the men's world title in Impact. It was
But
cool,
Tessa was believable, though.
right, and that was going to be my point. It was cool. It was cool. The storyline was believable, but then it was like, okay. Then it was a point where she was defending the women's title against a woman, then wrestling, then defending the men's title against a man. I'm like, okay, either make her the champ and strip her of one, or do something, because I felt like the storyline was getting out of hand.
I could see that. And I don't know what you do with that afterwards. Because, like, when you put her back in the women's division, it's like, oh, she can beat Brian Cage, but here she's losing to, like, Taya Valkyrie. That doesn't quite, you know. I'm ashamed, like, of her and all of her actions outside of the ring. Um, I would love to see her take on Charlotte Flair, but given her past and her reputation, I don't think we'll ever see that. So it puts like a very nasty asterisk on finally having a female world champion, because it had to be her and she had to ruin it.
I,
Same
I,
thing with Sexy Star when she won the
oh,
Lucha Underground title. She had to ruin it.
I really, really, really would love to have an interview with Tessa Blanchard to learn her side of the story. Just not saying that what people were saying is not true, but just to hear her point of view from it, I would love to hear.
Yeah, I wonder if it was kind of like locker room talk. In terms of like the bullying, like the racism, you can't work around. Like, there's no excuse for it. But the bullying, you could be like, hey, well, that was just us in the locker room, and maybe whatever girl was just a little too sensitive. I don't really know. None of us know except for the women that were there. But the way that all of these women came out of the woodwork when she was going for the title to tell their stories of her, that was terrible. That made that, I was so beyond excited for that match. And then tweet after tweet came out, and it just darkened that.
And even to this day, Chelsea Green, anytime Tulsa Blanchard comes up, Chelsea is immediately saying something.
And Chelsea Green is like one of the most like non-problematic people behind the scenes. Like, I've never heard of anybody having an issue with her.
Yes, and so many people just have a lot of respect for her. So it's definitely one of those, unfortunately, wrestling things that never really get answered. Um,
Yeah.
uh, it's amazing. As much as we love this sport, like anything else, we have controversy and things that we wish wouldn't take place. But unfortunately, it's the way of the world.
Yeah. It's just it's a shame when people like there's no excuse for that kind of thing. But it's such a shame when you have talent and you just can't get over yourself and you mess it up for yourself. Like I don't even want to say that because like the bigger issue is you shouldn't be a trash person. But like you're getting in your own way and you're darkening your own legacy. And she had so much potential. Like it's sad in a way. Like why do you have to be such a garbage person?
Definitely, and not only it's not only your reputation, but then it's your dad's. People look at your dad differently, look at your stepfather differently, wondering how is this something that they taught her, or just it's just so much damage that can be done from things that people really don't think about or care about, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I have this very, 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 very small experience with them. She was actually our company's first female champion. She was the PWX women's champion. And Tully would do promos for her. So we got kind of to work with them in that way. And they were very nice and from everything. Like I did not have the courage to speak to them. But from everything that I heard, it was all right. So I don't understand it.
Yeah. Man. So we're gonna leave out on a positive note. I want to thank you for taking the time to come on my show. I want to thank you for living out a dream, not only for yourself, but for us wrestling fans that cannot do what you do. Uh, like I told you before in our private chat, you deserve your flowers. You need to embrace your flowers and smell them and be okay to accept them because you do so much for the wrestling community that a lot of people do not know. And I believe if they knew, you would get so much love and admiration for it. So for them, I would say thank you. And you continue doing and continue going for your journey. And hopefully one day we will talk in the future and you will be at PWI writing different things.
That's so kind. I truly appreciate it. Like you don't know what like that means to me. I really do appreciate that.
You're more than welcome. You and it's more than deserved because you work hard. And again, a lot of us don't realize that wrestling is not just the two wrestlers, it's the referee, it's the commentary team, it's the manager, the valet, the writers, it's the people taking photographs. It's everybody, it's a team effort. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's a team effort, and you don't get enough thanks. So let me do all the thanking that I can for everyone.
Thank you.
You are so more than welcome. And feel free anytime you want to come on my show, Just let me know and we'll work it out.
You let me know.
No, you let me know because you look. I have the time to do this. You are a busy woman going to different fairs, writing different things. So anytime that you want to, we'll make it work.
All right.
Guys, girls, thank you so very much for joining me today. It's been another great super interview. And as I always say, support your local indie promotion. Please do. There's so many guys and girls that bust their tail. Y'all don't understand. A lot of these guys and girls don't make a lot of money from doing this. They work 1, 2 full-time jobs. They still come out, bust their butt to entertain us. So please give back to them. If you see them, tell them thank you. Even if they're that heel that you hate, tell them thank you because they're doing something that we all love and they deserve their flowers. And with that being said, I am Professor Burr. We will be around the campfire again very soon. Y'all have a great, great evening, and we will see you again.